Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope everyone has had a fantastic Monday afternoon so far. On this glorious Monday afternoon with the amazing weather we're currently having in the UK this afternoon. And I hope everyone's looking forward to the rest of this brand new week in April 2023 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour for me, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. That is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you are new. Then to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always put that notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite, Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, Football Manager, FIFA 23 Career Mode, and much more brand new stuff planned for the rest of this year on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel and the community if you are new. Thank you. Good afternoon to every single one of you, and welcome to the Premier League preview for the game between Manchester United and Brentford on Wednesday evening, on Wednesday the 5th of April 2023 this year. It is an 8 p.m. home evening kickoff for Manchester United on match day 30 of the 2022-2023 Premier League season, in which simply Man United have to respond from yesterday. What I witnessed from that team yesterday, what I witnessed from the players, the squad and that team, was nothing more than a complete and utter disgrace. We were embarrassing, we were awful, we were abysmal. Man United got outplayed by Newcastle. We were simply not at the races. We didn't turn up. We downed tools. We let our manager down. We let the fans down, and they let the supporters down. Yesterday was a big, massive wake-up call for this team. For me, I can see Manchester United heading one way this season. We are going to bottle top four. We are not going to get Champions League football next season. Newcastle and Spurs will end up finishing above Manchester United this season, and we are going to end up back in the Mickey Mouse Cup in UEFA Europa League next season, the way we are carrying on. Against Newcastle yesterday, those players down tools, they were awful. They were a disgrace. They were nothing more than a complete and utter embarrassment. They completely bottled jobs again. That team has turned into a complete and utter bottle job team. They were a disgrace. They didn't turn up and got completely outplayed by Newcastle, especially when Manchester United didn't have a single shot on target during the game. First half, Newcastle were all over Man United. Second half, Newcastle were all over Man United. They let Newcastle attack them. We couldn't break them down. We couldn't pounce on them on the counter-attack. We basically turned up to Newcastle and basically said, come and attack us. Let's see what you could do with your team. And Callum Wilson and Willock yesterday to put the goals past Man United's defensive ability, which is simply none the wiser to see. I'm not surprised Manchester United lost. I'm not surprised we lost this game. I had a very bad feeling yesterday evening when I was going to see Sam Ryder at the Bristol O2 Academy yesterday evening. When I saw the result and I saw Man United 1-0 down, it didn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that this club lost this weekend just gone. It wasn't a surprise. This is the same old Manchester United of old. No, these Leopards have not changed their spots. These players are still the same players that were under Solskjaer, Ralph Rangnick, Jose Mourinho, David Moyes, Louis van Gaal. Half this deadwood hasn't been cleared out. Half this deadwood hasn't been sold. And half this deadwood shouldn't even be featuring in a Man United shirt. I'm utterly astounded how badly we played yesterday. But it was no surprise to me we played the way we did. We didn't turn up and we let Newcastle have the game. We let them have the win and basically say we are not up for the task. We are going to down tools again this weekend. We are not going to listen to the manager's instructions. And basically, we are going to deliver another damning result, which we need to win. That game should have been a win yesterday. There was no excuses not to win that game. And now all the pressure has been put on us intensively on Wednesday night. We simply have to beat Brentford. This is the preview for the Brentford game. We simply have to win. There are no excuses if we do not win our next two games. If we fail to beat Brentford and Everton in our next two league games, I can see, honestly, one way this season, Man United are going to fail. This season, everybody has got hyped up over these players, this squad, and this team. Everybody is still pinpointing that Erik ten Hag as a problem. Erik ten Hag cost this game yesterday. Erik ten Hag cost Manchester United a win. Erik ten Hag couldn't get the result we wanted. Erik ten Hag was to blame. I'm sorry. Erik ten Hag was not to blame for that result yesterday. Those players are bottle jobs. They do nothing but down tools every result they get. They can't go on a long winning run. We can't go on an unbeaten season, and they can't be trusted. And Daraj Games 247 in the chat. Yeah, it's true. Coventry and Man United don't perform after an international break. Do you know what? I'm not surprised because these are two teams with historic histories and both clubs down tools this weekend. And I was appalled to see the result yesterday. I'm so glad I didn't have to witness that pile of shit play yesterday evening after I was enjoying a fantastic night out at a concert for the first time in nearly 8 years. That says a lot about me as a person, that I've actually gone and enjoyed myself, except having to watch from that banter club Man United have become. We were shocking yesterday. I was embarrassed to even have that team's name by my support. I was embarrassed to be a Man United fan yesterday, and I'm so glad I didn't have to witness that shit yesterday. But based on the highlights, what I've seen, and the match reactions of other channels and pinpoints of view, that team down tools yesterday. They are an embarrassment. They're a joke. They don't perform for the shirt. They don't perform for the badge. They don't perform for the fans. They don't perform for the supporters. They basically go back into their own shell, thinking they're that good. They go back into their own downward spiral of, well, we can't keep winning games every week. And basically, when you've got a shit squad with shit players with a shit team, Manchester United have got no hell chance of winning any games this season. I'm embarrassed to even be a Man United fan right now because that is how bad it has actually got this football club. That was unacceptable yesterday. And people saying, oh, Ten Hag's to blame. He wasn't to blame for that result. Ten Hag has been the best manager we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson, in my opinion. He's actually won us a trophy this season. But the problem is, since we've won the Carabao Cup, Man United have gone back to the style they had under Mourinho, Ralph Rangnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Those players have gone hiding. It's like the worst game of hide and seek. Those players hide away when there's a winnable game. That should have been a win yesterday. There are no excuses from that team not to perform. And I'm quite frankly embarrassed to have to support this club at times of the season because this football club should be winning. This football club should be winning against teams like Newcastle. You went to St James's Park and basically completely and utterly embarrass yourselves. And if you don't find a reaction on Wednesday, I'm not just going to sit there and protect your egos. I'm not just going to sit there and protect who you are. I'm not just going to sit there and not criticise your performance. If you fail to win on Wednesday night, this club is going backwards. It really, really is. And I'm not blaming the manager. Ten Hag is not to blame. Like I said, he's done miracles since he's come into this job, and he's turned Man United into a winning machine. He's got us back winning trophies in season one. We have overachieved, but the last few results, people have hyped up this team. They've hyped up these players, and basically some fans in this fan base and some of the supporters in this fan base have completely hyped up these players' egos, which makes them bigger than the football club again. And basically, they then become the problem in the dressing room. They become a problem on the pitch, and then they become a problem on and off the pitch as well on social media. These players do not care. These players showed yesterday they don't give a shit about our views. They don't give a shit about our opinions. And I think Erik ten Hag needs to realise, and I think he needs to realise very, very quick, if these players are not up to the task, he needs to jump ship. He needs to call out the owners, the board, and quite frankly, he needs to call out the way this football club is run. If I was Manchester United manager right now, and I'm in my press conference, I would be slamming these owners. I'd be slamming this board. And do you know what? They can sack me. But do you know what? I would then sue them for unfair dismissal for basically viewing my opinion, which is correct, and basically voicing my view. That's correct as well. Not enough is being done to force these owners out of this football club. Man United have got a huge opportunity to get the protests back. Man United have got a huge opportunity to protest about the way this club is being run. The supporters are not doing enough. The fans are not doing enough. They are very, very quickly hyped on the Super League to get that stopped. And then all of a sudden, there's 145,000 Manchester United fans waiting for season tickets next season. Basically, Glazer in fanboys. Basically, want these owners here. Basically, want the Glazers in charge still. And basically, want to see this shit club perform again next season under a manager that's been our best since Sir Alex. And the problem is, when you don't force owners out that are clueless and you've got muppets on the board, this club is going to go one of two ways. This is going to end the way it ended for Mourinho. This is going to end the way it ended for Moyes. This is going to be the end the way it ended for Mourinho. And this is going to happen. It happened under Solskjaer. It happened under Ralph Rangnick. The same problems are going to occur next season. That team can beat Brentford on Wednesday night. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. What Thomas Frank has done at Brentford is nothing more than miraculous. He has turned Brentford into a European team. He has turned Brentford into a top 4 team. He has turned Brentford into a top 10 team. The way Brentford have been playing this season, it wouldn't surprise me if they come to Old Trafford and win, because I know what Brentford are like. They play some fucking good football. They've got great players in Buemo and Visa, Damsgaard, Ivan Toney. You look at that Brentford team and you look at the quality it's got. I would probably take half that Brentford team and I would put it in that United team straight away, because I know some of those Brentford players would actually fight for this shirt. They would fight for the badge. They would fight for the fans. They would fight for supporters. Brentford have done miraculous, and I do expect them to get European football next season. They're above Liverpool. They're above Chelsea. You didn't expect Brentford to be above both of those European giants in Liverpool and Chelsea season. I expected Liverpool and Chelsea to get top 4. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Brentford come to Old Trafford and get a lucky win. It wouldn't surprise me if they come and get the result they want, because if Brentford win, the only way this season's going is going to be backwards. We are going to start heading down that Premier League table very quickly. And if we don't get Champions League football next season, I worry about the summer transfer window, because we can't afford to lose any more games. We simply have to keep winning now. But do I trust those players? Do I trust this team? No, I don't. Not after what I witnessed yesterday. I can't trust it anymore. I can't trust those players. Half that team is shit. And basically, those players get protected by social media, because basically social media put rules and regulations on them saying you can't say this and you can't say that. You're not allowed to voice your view. You're not allowed to voice your opinion. So basically, you're going to let over-ego players get their egos protected on social media again, because fans and supporters are not allowed a view on things. I think that is utterly, quite frankly, pathetic. If these players are going to get away from shit supporters, then fans really shouldn't be wasting any more of their time and their hard-working money spending it on this football club. And the problem is, that is the same problem we've had this season. The Glazers haven't gone because fans are still spending money on the kits. They're still buying the shirts. They're still buying the merchandise. And this is the big problem. Basically, Glazer in fanboys. If you're buying shirts for your kids and your children or your parents or your brothers or your sisters who are Man United fans, you've got no right doing that. Because if you want the Glazers out, you shouldn't be go out buying the kit. You shouldn't be out going buying the shirt. If you're fully Glazers out, you shouldn't be spending any money on this football club at all this season. Do you see me spending any money on Man United this season? No. Have I brought the new kits? No, because you've got a horrible green bogey kit, you've got a horrible away kit, and the home shirt basically looks like a tea towel. And basically, that is Man United for you. We are not run properly. This club is nearly in £1 billion of debt, and Ten Hag is basically clinging on to top 4 by the skin of his teeth because of what happened yesterday. Those players have to come out with some remorse on Wednesday and get the win against Brentford. If we don't beat Brentford and we do fail to win, I'm going to keep calling out how it is. I'm not just going to sit there and protect those players again and say, oh, please hold my hand for me while we cross the road. I'm sorry. You're bloody human beings after all. You're professional footballers who earn hundreds of £1,000s a week and you play like that. I'm sorry. If footballers are playing shit and they don't get the result and they don't get the win, they should be getting paid. They're mercenaries. They are taking a living out this football club. If they're performing the way they get against Newcastle and they do that against Brentford, Brentford going to come to Old Trafford. They'll dominate the game. They'll dominate the possession. They'll dominate the ball. They'll dominate the game. And they'll counter-attack Man United. And they will cause threats. Buemo is a threat. Ivan Toney is a threat. Damsgaard, Norgard. I mean, you look at that Brentford team and it's got quality written all over it. And I can't believe the amount of criticism Brentford get. Once Brentford came up to Premier League, I knew they were going to be fine. I knew they weren't going to get relegated. You look at the job Thomas Frank's done. I'm not surprised Brentford are in this position. If Brentford win on Wednesday night, I would applaud it. Because I'll tell you what, that is a proper team with a proper foundation, with a proper coach, with proper manager, proper players who are fighting for the fans and supporters. Brentford come to Old Trafford and win on Wednesday night. I think Eric Ten Hag's under huge pressure. But that is not the manager's fault. Ten Hag is basically trying to get the best out of a deadwood squad. He hasn't got the players available he wants. And there's also rumours this morning that Eric Ten Hag is becoming hugely impatient with Jadon Sancho. Well, Jadon Sancho, really, I can see Eric Ten Hag's point of view. But really, Jadon Sancho should be in that team. Because yesterday, half that team that started against Newcastle, I don't want anywhere near a Man United shirt ever again. They don't deserve another chance. Players who are going to get given an opportunity that are shit shouldn't even be on the bench. They shouldn't even be in the lineup. We need to start being brutal with this team. And people saying, well, you can't keep not playing Fred and McTominay. We need options in midfield. We're going to need somebody. You can't not play a midfield. Well, if you're going to keep using players like Fred, McTominay and Weghorst, be my guest, because I'm not sticking around for this journey if this all goes pear-shaped next season. Erik ten Hag should not have players like Fred and McTominay and Weghorst. And basically, it was proved yesterday, simply not good enough up front for Weghorst. McTominay and Fred are a liability in midfield. Delot and Luke Shaw aren't good enough at right back and left back. David De Gea isn't the same goalkeeper he used to be. And unfortunately, apart from that, we are nowhere near. So basically, if you're looking at Man United team, we've got no quality in that team. We have got no players that give you any confidence to get a result from. Those players can beat Fulham in the FA Cup, but can't beat Newcastle away from home. I knew St James's Park was going to be a tough place to go. Everybody knew that. But you shouldn't have down-tooled the way that team did yesterday. And it needs to be called out. If Man United are going to keep getting away with the same shit performances, then be my guest, because I don't think I'm going to stick around for this much longer, because everybody's got really hyped up since winning the Carabao Cup. That's been nearly 2 months since we won that trophy, and we're still going on about it. Where's the next trophy coming from? Because at the moment, I don't know where that trophy's coming from. If I'm looking at it from a bigger point of view, if we keep playing like the way we did yesterday, we aren't winning any more Premier League games. We've not won a Premier League game since we won the Carabao Cup. That's how bad it's actually got league form. We've not won a league game since the Carabao Cup, and fans wonder why we haven't, because I think the players have gone back into their own shell. I think they realise, we've won the Carabao Cup. What are you lot moaning at still? We can't keep delivering what the manager wants every week. Well, if you can't be asked or be bothered to deliver what the manager's telling you to do on the pitch, then really you shouldn't be at this football club, and really you're taking a living out this club. You're taking your own fucking selfish penny-pinching mercenaries out of this club and thinking you're God's gift. And I'm sorry, you're not. These players were shit yesterday, and I'm embarrassed to even put myself in Man United's shoes. But the problem is I've got to call it out. Not enough is being done to force, these owners out. Not enough is being done to force the board out. And this is the problem, right? Is anyone going to do anything on Wednesday night before the home game against Brentford? Because I'm looking forward to this game. I think Man United now need to realise that this is a must-win game. If you don't win the next 2 games and you don't get 6 points from 6, and you can't beat Brentford and Everton, it basically shows the difference between both teams. It shows very quickly where Everton and Brentford are compared to Manchester United. It's not a surprise. This is the same old crap that happened under Solskjaer and Ralph Rangnick, and both managers lost their jobs. And these players wonder why we've had so many manager changes, because it's basically you lads. If you can't be asked to perform or play at the highest level, then get out the football club. Piss off, because I haven't got time for time wasters who don't want to be at this club trying to fight for the shirt. If you don't want to fight and you don't want to put the passion in or the hunger or the desire, then I'm sorry, go and play for an Everton, go and play for a Leicester, go and play for a Bournemouth, because that's probably half that team's level from yesterday. There was no quality in that team. Up front, I knew Weghorst was going to be the problem, and look how much hype he's been given. Weghorst was not the answer in January. Gary Neville even said yesterday, he ain't good enough up front. Completely correct. Absolutely bang on to the point. Even Rude Hillett, ex-Chelsea legend, has said, Weghorst ain't good enough. Completely agree. Absolutely agree. And since Weghorst scored in Europa League, everybody's hyped him up. It's like, oh, look what Weghorst is doing. At least he's chasing down the ball. At least he's getting on the ball. At least he's getting chances on goal. We didn't have no shots on target yesterday, and we couldn't put the ball in the net. Aren't the strikers meant to put the ball in the net? And we've got basically a good, strong front three, and basically none of them could do their job, and we lost the game deservedly. We deserved what we got yesterday. And I dread how Brentford are going to do to us. I dread it. Because Brentford are going to look at that result and they're going to look like, right, Man United are beatable. Man United can lose this game. We can go to Old Trafford and win. We can get the win we need. We can get European football next season. And you know what? If you think about it logically, Brentford are only 6 points off Man United. What if Brentford finish above Man United and get top 4? What if we don't get the Champions League we need? What if we're back in the Europa League next season? That is the big issue I've got, because we've done so well to get where we are today. We are clinging on to top 4 now, and basically you're now relying on Everton winning tonight against Tottenham. Because if Everton lose and Tottenham win, we're down to 5th. We're outside top 4 again. That is failure in season 1. But it's not Ten Hag's fault. He's the one that picks the team. I know, I completely agree. He's the one that picks the players and he's the one who picks the team. But unfortunately, when he hasn't got the quality that Man City's bench have got, or Liverpool's got, or Chelsea's got, or Arsenal's got, or Tottenham's got, I don't know what fans expect. Because you know what players in that team aren't good enough. And basically, you tell me, well, Ten Hag can't keep playing his strong team every week. He can't keep putting out a full-strength team every game. I completely disagree with you, because that's what you should be doing. If you've got any cojones at all, if you've got any balls to show any fight, you put your best team out. You don't see me on FIFA putting my shit players out. You see me putting my best team in week in, week out, and I actually have the world-class backups on the bench waiting to come on to change the game. We don't have that at Man United. We basically have the bench of a Bournemouth team. We're basically stuck with Jack Butland, McTominay and Fred, Maguire and Lindelof, Palestri, Elanga. Does that get you excited off the bench? Realistically, no. And some of those players didn't even want to go over and applaud the fans yesterday after probably making such a long journey up to Newcastle. Those players didn't even want to go over and applaud the United fans. That's completely disgusting. It basically shows they've gone back into being their own selves again. I'm the big I am. I'm the big one that makes this club big. I'm the big best Man United player. Well, I'm sorry. Some of you players showed under Ralph Rangnick and Solskjaer that you're not good enough. And you basically are showing to us now that you carry on playing like this and you down tools on Wednesday, I think this fan base will erupt. I think the chaos this club is going to get itself in the next few weeks. If you fail to win your next 2 league games, this season's going to derail very quickly, because the problem is you've also then got difficult FA Cup semi-final against Brighton, and then you've got Europa League against Sevilla in the quarterfinals over 2 legs. And if we go out of both of them, we don't win 2 more trophies. You can't class this season as a success if we don't get top 4 either. This could derail Ten Hag's era. And I don't blame Ten Hag. He has to pick these players he's got available to him. But it shows that the naivety of some of the substitutions, some of those players shouldn't even be on the bench. Some of those players in that starting 11 shouldn't even be in the team. I don't know what fans are expecting. He isn't Merlin. He isn't fucking Sutton. He's got waved his magic wand and gone, izzy wizzy, let's get fucking busy. He's meant to bring the team back to glory, and I still believe he will, but not of this team. Not of these players, not of these bottle jobs. They can't be trusted, Eric. And I feel sorry for the manager, because he's basically between a rock and a hard place. And like Gary Neville said yesterday, they didn't back him in January. They had a huge opportunity to deliver world-class players to make the result change for United for the rest of the season. And basically went with Jack Butland, Weghorst and Sabitzer. And what I'm also annoyed at, that a lot of people are pinpointing Sabitzer's not good enough in midfield. Have you seen McTominay and Fred the last 2 seasons? Sabitzer's completely and utterly changed that midfield overnight. As soon as he got here, Sabitzer changed the game. And basically fans are saying, well, he's not been good enough yesterday. He was probably one of our best standout players yesterday in that midfield, and you're pinpointing that he's the problem. Maybe look at 5 or 6 of the other players around him that are going to cost this club. And it's the same with Marcus Rashford. Like, he didn't go on international duty with England, has been training for 4 fucking weeks at Man United's training ground at the Aon training complex. And yesterday went back to the old Marcus Rashford from last season. Can you rely on that next season? Would you give him a new contract based on the last few performances? Personally, for me, I wouldn't. I would even. I think Ten Hag's got no choice but to start him Wednesday, because he's basically our top goal scorer, 27 goals this season, basically been our best player, up there probably with Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. And we are missing Casemiro. There's no doubt about it that we are suffering long-term without Casemiro. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be getting 3-4 game suspensions for a straight red card. I think that's ridiculous. I think the rule needs to change on that. Because on FIFA, if he gets a red card, you miss 1 game. So I can't really justify how, that's allowed on a game, but in real life it's a 3-game suspension. So we are struggling without Casemiro, and I think what backfired yesterday was playing McTominay at CDM. That was going to be a car crash waiting to happen. And I think Ten Hag now needs to realise that, half that team is shit. Half those players should be featuring Wednesday. And I think I would be making 5 or 6 changes from that team. I would be dropping Weghorst out this team. I think McTominay needs to be dropped. Delo needs to be dropped. I personally think Luke Shaw needs to be dropped as well. And I tell you what, I would drop David De Gea as well. I would give Butland a go and goal. I actually think I would. So please subscribe to the channel if you're new, by the way. You're all legends and you're all legendary. I would drop David De Gea. I know that's a big call, but yesterday, I know he made like 3 or 4 crucial saves, but it clearly shows that we're looking for a goalkeeper that Ten Hag wants, that something in that team De Gea can't do. And I think I can pinpoint why Ten Hag's doing it. He wants a proper goalkeeper that can come out the box, that can make clearances away from the penalty area. And I think, we haven't seen Jack Butland, and I can't understand why we've not, because I can understand why we have and understand why we can't, because we shouldn't be going for a goalkeeper of that level. We should be ready to have gone for a world-class backup option to De Gea. I mean, should they have recalled Dean Henson off his loan from Nottingham Forest? Should they have done that? But I don't think Man United would have done that because they haven't got any clue how to even write a letter on a piece of paper. So I think that team needs to kick up the ass. I really think maybe we should go and ask NASA if we can go and borrow the space shuttle and the sword so we can shove that space shuttle so far up those players' asses. You're going to need a shovel to start digging the shit out those players' performances. I don't want any more excuses, no more bullshit, no more crap from that team. That team needs waking up Wednesday. It's like that team has gone into a coma and it ain't waking up. That is how bad it's looking. It's like we've gone back into the shell. It's like we're hibernating. What are we, a hedgehog? That is basically what we've turned into. We've basically turned into a team that hibernates and goes back into its own shell and hides away from good winnable games we should have got points from. And I knew Newcastle was going to be tough, but I didn't expect the players to perform the way they did. I expected to actually try and go there and get the win and get the 3 points. That's what ruined my weekend for me. But I want some kind of response Wednesday. They know they have to beat Brentford now. Failing to beat Brentford will cost this team top 4. Because if you can't beat Brentford, then don't expect much out of these players on Saturday against Everton. You can't beat these 2 teams in your next 2 games. It shows the credentials. It shows the non-passion that some of these players have got. Are these players tired? Are these players fatigued? Probably. There probably are. We are probably suffering with a lack of tiredness and a lack of fatigue. No, not a lack of fatigue. A lot of fatigue and a lot of tiredness is probably setting in these players. There is a lot of, excuses for these players to get away with it. And they can't keep hiding away from that they were awful. And if they don't respond Wednesday, like I said, the fan base will be in uproar. I wouldn't surprise if, protests need to happen. And I'm urging every Man United fan to try and do something Wednesday night. We've got to get these owners gone. Because if they're here in the summer, don't expect no new players, no investment for the squad. And basically, they'll come out of the excuse we have to sell to buy because we overspent in the summer last year in 2022 and there ain't no money. The coppers have dried up in the piggy bank and basically there is no cash. So we need to do something before the game on Wednesday. But I think those players know that if they don't perform and they don't give their all Wednesday, they are going to get battered on. They're going to get battered more than a piece of cod from the fish and chippy. That is how bad it could get if they do not start that game well and they let Brentford come and outplay us. It's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy because Brentford are up there. If Brentford and Fulham were to get top 4, I would actually sit there and laugh because that shows that those 2 teams have probably got a lot more passion than some of those teams this season because Spurs have been awful this season. There's no doubt about that. Newcastle have been up and down more than a fucking yo-yo. Man United have been consistent up till now and basically down tools yesterday. Liverpool and Chelsea have been a laughingstock. They should be nowhere near where they should be. They should be competing for top 4, Premier League, Champions League places. And the problem is, what annoyed me yesterday, we had so much, right things to do. You saw Chelsea and Liverpool both lose. Potentially both of them aren't going to get Champions League football. They're not going to get top four. We had such huge opportunity yesterday to go clear of them. And we basically shot ourselves in the foot, basically saying, you know what, we can't keep doing this every week. But the problem is, if you're giving yourselves huge opportunities to go clear of Liverpool and Chelsea, and if you can't beat Newcastle, that shows that, Liverpool and Chelsea actually look better than we do. And I know Chelsea have just sacked Graham Potter, and I think it was probably the correct decision. And, Spurs have sacked Conte. Will Spurs and Chelsea now start and get reactions out of their performances? Will we see better football from both teams? And if Man United keep on losing and we keep fading away and top four is gone by the end of April, Ten Hag's going to have a hard-line look and thinking, do you know what? This team does need a rebuild. And I think those players now need to realise that your futures are on the line on Wednesday. I feel like, enough is enough of Dalot. Enough is enough of Luke Shaw. I can't understand why he's been given a brand new 4-year contract. It is an absolute disgrace of a decision made by the board when he's no longer fit enough. He can't keep himself healthy. He's injury prone and basically showed yesterday he can't do a job in 90 minutes and he shouldn't have been given a new contract. I completely disagree with the fans' hype and positivity with Luke Shaw getting a new contract. He was abysmal yesterday. He offers nothing at left back. He can't get forward with the ball. His corners are woeful. He can't put a decent cross or ball into the box. Can't score a goal. Basically, he takes on too many players, loses the ball, and then the team counter-attacks against us. So I wouldn't start Luke Shaw on Wednesday, especially when you spent £15 million on a brand new left-back that basically played really well against Real Betis in Europa League last 16-second leg. Probably had his best game in the Man United shirt. And yet again, against Fulham in the FA Cup and Newcastle yesterday, Malacia is nowhere to be seen and is left on the bench. I can't understand why we're not playing Malacia when he's a completely better left-back than what Luke Shaw is going to be in the next 10 to 15 years. So I think Malacia has to come back in. I think people have realised the situation with Dalot as well. I feel like fans have finally woke up from their hard, long sleep and they've realised Dalot ain't good enough. Again, yesterday, Anthony is taken off. Dalot is then exposed for the second goal. And basically, he can't do a job at right back that I think the manager wants. And I wouldn't be giving him a new contract either. If Dalot's given a new contract, I think fans eventually are just going to realise, you know what? If some of these players aren't good enough, what are they doing in the team? What are they doing in this lineup? And I completely stand by that because these are the players that are going to cost this club long term. And they'll keep on doing it. The more opportunities players get, the more opportunity the results are going to get worse. And that is what really worries me ahead of Wednesday. If we go with the same team that we played with yesterday, I feel like Brentford will come to Old Trafford and they'll win the game and they'll get European football. I still think Brentford are going to get European football anyway because they've got the ability to do it. They've got the squad to do it. They've got the manager to do it and they've got the players to do it. There's no reason why not Brentford will not get European football. If they were to get Champions League football and you're at Sports Personality of the Year Awards in 2023 in December, I would give Brentford Team of the Year. I'd give Thomas Frank Coach of the Year because no one expected Brentford to be anywhere near. They are going to give Man United one hell of a game on Wednesday. It's not going to be an easy 3 points walk in the park for United. This is going to be a tough, tough game. So we've discussed the back four. And I feel like, Varane and Martinez will probably keep their place anyway. I can't see, Eric Ten Hag going back to Magaluf and Lindelof and Maguire again because that will just be another recipe for disaster. And then Maguire and Lindelof will then get exposed again for their poor defensive ability of a fridge. So I don't think, Ten Hag's going to make major changes to that team. I just feel like now there's an opportunity for players like Martial to come back in. I feel like McTominay, it has to be the end now. I think, if Man United get a good substantial offer for McTominay in the summer, I would take it in a heartbeat. I would then go and get a decent backup CDM to Casemiro because if Casemiro is going to be out this next season and he keeps getting injured and then he gets suspended for picking up red cards, we can't rely on McTominay and Fred. I feel like Man United need to start cashing on some of this dead wood and they've got to keep doing it. That's the only way I think things are going to improve. And if it doesn't improve, it wouldn't surprise me we end up in the same shit that we saw yesterday. So I think the end for McTominay is nigh. What I would do with the attack, I think if Ten Hag has come out and basically said that he's got really impatient with Jadon Sancho, for me, that's the end. It's sad. It hasn't worked out for Jadon Sancho at Man United, but apparently those rumours are not true. But if he actually has come out and said he's got impatient with Jadon Sancho now, that basically means the end is nigh for him. And it hasn't worked out from his move from Borussia Dortmund. I mean, what team would Jadon Sancho get in if he left? I would have no idea, but I don't want to lose Jadon Sancho. But has he been given enough opportunity to prove himself? Probably not, because I think Ten Hag is basically stuck on the idea of having Weghorst play up front, and he knows he has to start Rashford and he knows he has to start Antony. But I feel like, it's tough. This United front line is tough because you've got so many options. Because you've got Garnacho coming back from injury. You've got Sancho, you've got Antony, you've got Alanga, you've got Martial, you've got Rashford and Weghorst. Weghorst showed yesterday that, he wasn't the answer in January we needed. He isn't the response we needed for an injury-prone Martial. But yet Martial featured and played yesterday. Should he have started the game? I think probably he should have done. I think that was a complete naive mistake not to start him. I know he's injury-prone, and I've got more frustrated with Martial this season more than ever because I knew he wasn't good enough, but I knew he would have been a better option up front yesterday than what Weghorst would have been. And I think Martial up front would have caused a lot more problems for that Newcastle back four with his speed and his pace and the ability with the ball and the way he can take on the defensive back four of the opposition. I feel like, Ten Hag will start Rashford. There's no way I think Rashford's not going to start against Brentford because I think, we're reliant on Rashford to score the goals. But at least, there was no positives from yesterday because we were shit. There was no excuses for that yesterday. There was no excuse for that bollocks that fan base and supporters had to witness. There was no excuse for what we had to see from that United team. So there's no way I can see, Ten Hag dropping Rashford. I know he didn't have his best game yesterday, but I think that's probably because of, Rashford's looking at that United front three and he's thinking, fuck it hell, I've got Weghorst, the BFG's best friend in the Iron Giant up front. And, I feel like, I couldn't understand why yesterday then why Varane and Antony were both subbed. Were they being saved for Wednesday? I have absolutely no idea. I think that's where it all started to go wrong. I think substituting Varane and then Antony in the same game was a huge mistake from the manager. But I wouldn't pinpoint that on Ten Hag. It's not his fault because he hasn't got the numbers and options available that I think the manager would want at this club. So for me, I would have to risk starting Martial on Wednesday night. And I think Ten Hag has got to start being ruthless with Weghorst and saying, look, you're not the answer. This hasn't worked out. 2 goals in 11 games is pathetic. Basically, he's repeated his Burnley record of basically 2 goals in 20 games is basically coming, and he scored 2 goals in 11. That is simply not what you expected Man United to do in the January transfer window of 2023 this year. And I feel like, we should have gone and got João Felix. They should have found the money for that. They should have found the money for Gakpo. But, basically using the same excuses from 3 years ago is coming back out into fruition. And basically that this team is going to try and hide from its own mistakes behind the scenes. And it's going to affect the manager. It's going to affect these players because, we are limited on options. Eriksen is hopefully going to be back from injury soon, hopefully this month. We need Eriksen back in that midfield. We are suffering without that magician in that midfield three. Hopefully Garnacho is going to be back as well, because I tell you what, we missed his quality yesterday. I think if you would have had Garnacho and Eriksen, a fully fit Garnacho, a fully fit Eriksen, and a fully fit Martial start that game yesterday, and Casemiro was not suspended, I feel like that game would have probably been a walk in the park. I think we would have beat Newcastle, we would have got the result we wanted, and basically we would have won the game. I feel like, Newcastle have got the revenge from the Carabao Cup final. They deserved the win, they deserved the result, not going to beat around the bush about it. We were simply not good enough, and it was a shambles from start to finish. So I think those players need to step up Wednesday and show that they're here for the fight, they're here for the long term, because I feel like some of the comments come out today and said Ten Hag wants a full rebuild in the summer. I completely agree. I do feel like we are going to need a full fucking rebuild in the summer, and we need to spend in excess of 400 to 500 million. People saying that's delusional. You can't do that. Well, I don't see Chelsea complaining. I don't see Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs complaining about spending that type of money. You need to start being ruthless with the squad. We don't need to sell to buy. Don't believe those rumours that, Man United got to sell to buy due to financial fair play. Don't believe all those blue tick people on Twitter that, it's all about we've got to sell to buy to bring players in the summer. It's just bullshit trying to hide from the truth that there is going to be plenty of money there if the Qataris bid is successful and it goes through. People are going to be shit scared of the type of money Man United are going to spend. So don't believe that. But, we need to beat Brentford Wednesday. And if we don't win the game, it wouldn't be surprised. But this is a must-win game now. If you don't beat Brentford, don't expect anything against Everton on Saturday either. So there's a huge opportunity on Wednesday, and we're going to have to rely on Everton beating Spurs tonight. But we shouldn't have to rely on everyone around us. Man United should be really stepping up to the plate, showing their credentials, showing their passion to fight for the team. And hopefully, they will do it in the next few games. But I'm very annoyed with the result yesterday. I mean, I enjoyed my evening. I went to Sam Ryder at the O2 Academy last night. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, got his shirt on. He's got all his tour dates on the back as well, which is really, really cool. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that yesterday, but it really whacked me off that United lost because I was expecting Man United to beat Newcastle. But if you don't beat Brentford, don't expect top four. Don't expect to be back in the Champions League, and then expect teams like Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle, probably Brentford, and even possibly Brighton to finish above all of us. And if they do finish above all of us, that will show a lot. That will show where we are compared to other teams. And it wouldn't surprise if we don't win this game. But United need to win the game. We need the win. We need the 3 points. And these players have got to step up on Wednesday and win the game. What am I going to go for scoreline-wise? I'm going to go for 2-0 United. I feel like, if we can start the game well, we can control the game and, dent Brentford quite easily on. I think, the game could be won quite quickly. But if we start playing the way we did yesterday in both halves of the game, in the first and second half against Newcastle, and we show that type of performance again against Brentford, I feel like we could lose or even draw this game. But I'm going to go for 2-0. I'm going to go for they'll score a goal in the first half and they'll go into the second half and score another goal and finish Brentford off. But if Brentford then get a consolation and they make it 2-1, they could then go up and get a late draw, and then we could end up then drawing the game instead of winning the game. So anything's possible, but I'm going to go for 2-0 Manchester United. They've got to win this game. They need to respond Wednesday night. We need to simply keep winning our home games. But I disagree that we have to keep relying on our home form. You should be performing home and away no matter what. If you're performing away from Old Trafford, you should still be performing. If you're performing at Old Trafford, you should still be performing. Those players down tools yesterday, they were a shambles, they were abysmal, they were pathetic. And I'm not going to hide from the truth that this team is going backwards. Since we've won the Carabao Cup, everybody's gone back into their own shell. This team has gone back into hibernation. And basically, these players' egos are only to continue to get bigger. If these players don't win, don't expect a nice response from me when we do our match reaction Wednesday night. And please join me for that on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel and the community if you are new. You're all legends. You're all legendary in your own way as well. And, I hope we win and hope United get the result on Wednesday night. And hopefully these players step up against Brentford, get the win, get the Old Trafford crowd on side. But we've got to do protest for this game. And I'm eager every Man United fan to do something. Don't just sit there and let the Glazers win. They need to be gone in the summer for Man United to stand any mathematical chance of winning next season. That's the only way this season will get better. So, let's see what happens. So I'm going to go for 2-0 United. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to hit the like button, the share button. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you are new. Remember to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always put that notification bell on at all times as well to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite content, Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Hearts 4, FIFA 23 Career Mode of Man United, Salford City, LAFC in America, Football Manager as well, Disney Dreamlight Valley, the new Formula 1 game. And remember to go and check out all my other socials. I'm on TikTok. I'm also on Twitter with this channel. So go and check out my Twitter. Give me a follow on there and also give me a follow on TikTok as well. and enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon, whatever you're all doing. Remember to stay safe, be nice, be kind to each other. Join for the match reaction Wednesday night, which is hopefully a Man United win, but won't surprise me if Brentford come and get an unlucky result. So enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon. Stay safe, be nice, be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legends your own way. Thanks for watching.